Hello there, so we're here today with Helle Helsner in the Wild Atlantic Way in her workshop in Kilburton. So Helle has a beautiful story. She's a sculptor turned jeweller turned all-round very talented lady. So basically we're here today to talk to her to kind of find out what inspires her, a little bit more about her business, and I'm going to hand over to Helle because she's the perfect woman to tell us the story.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I come from a sculptural background. And I'm originally from Denmark, and I came to Ireland in 1996 to study fine art in the Crawford Art College, and went on to do a degree and a master's in prehistoric bronze casting because I have a huge interest in ancient casting. So I have a very sculptural background, but I also do a lot of drawing, and I teach life drawing in the Crawford Art College as well. And that kind of developed into, particularly since I moved here to West Cork and started noticing the nature around me, because I've always been very figurative, and suddenly I was surrounded by this beautiful nature, and it slowly snuck into my work. And suddenly I went, ooh, because I'm so interested in prehistoric history and casting, and do a lot of research on that, I started looking into, art has always been a part of prehistory, but jewellery has always been a part, and jewellery as a means of expressing who you are, what you believe in. So I started kind of playing around with jewellery, and rather than kind of do prehistoric, I started looking at nature, and because I use prehistoric methods, it allows me to do things in metal that other people can't. So I started experimenting by casting the flora around me. And I found a way, which I'm not gonna, that's my trade secret, but I found a way.
We're not asking any trade secrets, you're okay.
I found my way to actually cast the flowers so that every piece I cast is part of a flower.
Oh, wow. I mean, the level of detail in these are just amazing.
Exactly. And I kind of, in the process, I lose control. I can't always predict the outcome, but that's kind of how I work. So I like that. Of course, I get better and better the more I do it.
Yes.
But I do like that element of surprise in the work. And I started out by casting in bronze because that was my material, but I quickly then moved on to silver and also gold.
Wow.
And again, I use a little clay-fired furnace with charcoal, and I bellows, and I sit there and bellow and melt my metal and cast them in little molds made out of clay and horse dung.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. But I would imagine, Helle, that is very, very time consuming for you, and for you to, traditional jewelers and things like that, they'll just, do it and mass produce it. Yeah. But obviously each one of your pieces is completely unique and, takes up so much time. So that's obviously a real passion of yours.
Absolutely, and I call them wearable art. Like they're miniature sculptures in my head, as opposed to jewellery. There's always only going to be one of each.
Right, okay, and so that's really coming in from your sculptural background.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Wearable art.
Wearable art is what I call it. And also what I really like to do is, so far I've managed to use recycle metals. I found a place in Denmark that recycles gold.
Oh, fantastic.
Cleans it up within the EU, so there's no child labour, there's no nothing. I really aim to, in the long run, to be fair trade.
Fantastic.
Because it just kind of goes in line with even the way I do it. Is very carbon friendly, to use a word, but it is, or carbon neutral, whatever the word is. But it's very, it is bespoke, and it's once-off pieces, and people buy kind of a history with it as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's so much more than a piece of jewellery, you know. Yeah. And do you find that your customers, Helle, that they come to because this is what they love about you, the ethos and the real history behind your pieces?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I find that the people that are coming to me are people that are not interested in having something that everybody has. They want something created uniquely for them, but also that they are aware of the whole ethical side of it when they order the piece, and they know that when they come to me that there is that I have sourced my materials and And that's very important for me.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah. And I mean, it's the future, really. It's the way things should be going, you know.
And I find more and more people are coming, and more and more people are interested in that, and more and more people are interested in that what they have is unique, and it's theirs.
And it's a very special piece. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. I have heard a few people who said, oh yeah, can you put my initials and can you put my child's initials so I can pass it on?
Oh, wow, fantastic.
Which is lovely. So people look at it like that. It's an investment as well, and something to be passed on.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well, you have a kind of noted fame because you gave the Queen of Denmark a beautiful, beautiful bespoke piece. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I had only just kind of really started out with the jewellery, and I'm not a huge royalist, but obviously growing up in Denmark, there's something about the Danish Queen and the family and the castles and everything. It's very fairy tale, and we really love her. She is an extremely intelligent lady, and she has a huge interest in archaeology, history, drawing. She practiced art herself, so she's a woman that, besides being a queen, I actually quite admire for being who she is. And the Queen has a nickname. Her name is Margrethe, but she's called Daisy. That's her nickname. And I thought, look, I do daisies. So I cast her something very similar to this, but with a gold daisy and a silver brooch. And the brooch is basically based on the Irish medieval brooches. So I wanted that in so that she got a bit of my Irish side into the Danish side. Got a lovely letter back saying thank you very much.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Absolutely.
So
wonderful.
It's a lovely little story.
And as well as jewellery, Helle, and being a sculptor, you're also an amazing knitter. And so if you just wouldn't mind that we'll just talk me through a little bit of this. I mean, you do the most amazing shawls and capes.
Thank you.
Do you want to model it?
I will model it. This one is my own, and this one actually often lives in the studio, so it's a little bit different from the other ones. Just the other ones have different colours in them. But yeah, I knit. I found out I'm one of these people who can't sit still in the evening and do nothing. So I need something to do with my hands when I sit and watch telly or whatever, Netflix. And I'm not good at reading patterns, but I can do triangles as squares, as I say, and people laugh, but that's what I do. So I started knitting these shawls and big woolly scarves, and I suppose, again, coming from a Danish background, design is so essential in Denmark. Absolutely. And there is a certain kind of simplicity to it, but then they'd add something that just kind of makes it really special.
Fantastic. And the wool that you're using is
Donegal, heather wool.
Heather wool. Okay,
yeah.
well.
I found their colours, because I also do a lot of drawing, and I go a lot, like the shawls are very much inspired by nature. Okay. And I found that the colours in the Donegal colours are very natural colours.
Yes, and they're all bringing in the landscape.
They are,
landscape.
And you can see it. I have pieces called where the land meet the sea, and it's a shawl like this, but it has a little slip of blue in a brown, in a charcoal brown. So there's a little bit of landscape. There are always titles on all the pieces, and the shawls as well. So there's landscape going into them. And
everything you make here, Helle, is all made by you?
Everything is made by me.
Fantastic. Yeah. You're a busy lady.
I'm a very
talented
busy lady. Thank you.
Listen, Helle, thank you very much for taking the time to chat to us today. And you can check out Helle's design on the Baby Forest /Helle Helsner or H2STUDIOART.com.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great.